Hello and welcome to my blog. This blog has been delayed a little since the spring budget from Mr. Hammond. Reason being, there seemed to be a little bit of a debate rumbling on in the Cabinet between the Prime Minister and the Chancellor regarding the content of his budget. Most of you will have noticed that there was an attack on national insurance contributions by the Chancellor in the original budget, where he actually increased the levels from previously, despite a pledge in the Tory Manifesto of 2015, where David Cameron, the previous Prime Minister, had actually promised that there would be a tax lock and there would be no such increases to national insurance. So what was the Chancellor looking to achieve with this? The first thing is there is a larger and larger move from employment towards self-employment in the UK workforce. Obviously, a lot of you guys are contractors and you've made such a move yourselves, but it's filtering down into the less technical occupations as well, and the less white-collar occupations as well. So what the Chancellor was trying to do was to make sure that the increased national insurance rates that are paid by employed people are on a par with what happens with self-employed people. The problem is he didn't consult the Tory Manifesto, so within 24 hours of his budget, Theresa May came out and said, we don't actually plan to implement this immediately, and it was deferred. And then the Chancellor himself came out with a letter, which was published in the broadsheets, which basically said his approach is the right one, but he doesn't intend to actually bring this in right now. So lots of strange goings on and a bit of an undermining of the credibility of the new Chancellor. But there you go, that's politics for you. So in other news from the budget, the more sort of topical stuff for contractors, it wasn't a great budget for contractors, if we're completely honest. IR35 reared its ugly head again. Public sector workers who are contractors will no longer be able to use public service companies. And we also have the payroll style companies as well, and the tax benefits offered by those have been clamped down on if you're working in the public sector as a contractor. No real surprises there because it's been in the offing for a while, but it's a further clampdown on people who the government deemed to be disguised employees. So another move that the Chancellor made against those of you who work as contractors was another undoing of what happened previously. So George Osborne brought in a dividend tax allowance, so the first £5,000 worth of dividend income would not be taxed. What this Chancellor, Mr. Hammond, actually did was to unwind that down to £2,000 as a tax-free allowance. So it hasn't been in very long, and it's already been pared back by the same government, but a different Chancellor. So again, not fantastic news for contractors. Beyond that, there wasn't really a lot else to report in terms of good or bad news. I, for one, was hoping that those of you who are landlords would be spared any further clamping down on tax allowances. So many people have moved their personally owned properties under the umbrella of a limited company in order to avoid the interest relief sort of erosion that the government has brought in. I was half suspecting that the Chancellor may bring in some kind of closing of that loophole, but that hasn't happened. So good news that those tax allowances can still be achieved as long as you move properties into a limited company setup. In that regard, good idea to speak with a tax advisor first, and then with a mortgage advisor if the tax advisor says it's a good idea. So that's it as far as tax and contractors is concerned. And this budget, a very, very eventful one, particularly with the fallout that occurred afterwards, and the sniff of infighting at the top of the Tory party. But one to watch, and thank you very much for watching as well. And we'll keep you informed of developments over the next month or so. Many thanks.